Morning and welcome to Gardening 365 79. I'm in the greenhouse today. It's pretty cold outside, it's wet and it's not very nice. So I'm in the greenhouse and I've just got one or two smaller jobs to do. I've already checked my wormery, just turned that over, so they're looking good. I've had a look at one or two of my little things I've got going on. They seem okay and I'm going to start with some planting. So I've got an old recycling bin. It's full of soil that I've made up and used for growing potatoes. So it's ideal now for the next thing I'm going to grow in there, which is going to be carrots. Carrots thrive in soil that's not as rich as it could be. So I'm going to sow some carrots in there and then I'm going to take them to a slightly warmer place to hopefully get them germinated. Now these carrot seeds are from the previous season and they don't actually keep for that long. Carrot seeds, they don't germinate so well, older seeds. So I'm going to sow them, not really thick, but possibly a little bit thicker than what I would normally do. And they're a sprinkle seed, so they're fairly small. I don't grow them in rows as such, I don't. I've grown some outside last year. They did good, didn't get carrot fly, but I sowed them later in the season. And these shouldn't get carrot fly neither, which is the biggest problem with carrots. As I say, fairly thick. And carrots don't require any feed whatsoever, so I won't be watering these with any liquid feed at all, just water. When I finish sprinkling, I just sprinkle some topsoil on them, not very thick, I just want a little bit, and if they're too deep, again they won't germinate. The trickiest part of any plant's life is the germination. Once they germinated, they should grow. Germination is always difficult. These should grow in the cooler temperatures that we've got at the minute. And I'm fine with that. Should take a couple of weeks and we should see them. And a very light sprinkling of water. And that's it. No more. And put them in a slightly warmer place. And I've put them under there. There's no heating for these, so they're almost within a greenhouse with bubble wrap, and then in their own little bubble wrap greenhouse as well. So hopefully that will keep them warm enough to germinate. And as I say, that will be the most traumatic part of their life. So I just come past here, I had a little look in here, and we got some salad leaves growing, some calabrese growing there, some of Claire's plants, and some strawberries for next year. So you can grow things even though it is cooler. I'm talking about calabrese. That one is looking superb, and that could be ready for next Sunday's Sunday dinner. I'm looking forward to it already. And next up, exhibition onions. These are fairly small seeds. They're sort of in between a sprinkle and a place. So I'm just literally dropping them in, trying to spread them out as much as I can. It won't be perfection. I'll put one or two little grid lines in there, so just to help me out just a little bit. It's not going to be perfect. This is going to take me a while to do. You haven't seen me just do this on a video for a while. Cue the music. Done. Now exhibition onions are very large, very mild onion, almost like a Spanish onion that we had when we were kids, and they're beautiful, beautiful on a sandwich. And all I'm going to do now is sprinkle a little top soil onto this now. And then from there, going to very, very lightly give it a little pat down. And this is so that you know the soil and the seeds are definitely in contact with each other. This will have a very light watering now, and then I'll take it into the house, into the propagator. And the great news is some of the plants from last week have started to germinate. And these are the very last of my 2021 season tomatoes. And these were all grown from a seed from a tomato I collected. How pleased am I going into the second week of January and I've still got tomatoes from the season before. Well impressed. Here's a good tip for you. If ever you have a tree come down or anything like that and you've got time, cut any of the brash into little sticks, leave them for 12 months, take them inside and use them as kindling. Perfect. But it does take quite some time to do that, but it is quite relaxing doing it, and obviously you get a good output from it. And if you want more great tips on how to get the very best out of your garden, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Garden 365 and you'll never miss a video upload. Then bring your sticks in for a couple of days just to dry off, along with any logs you've got. And after you finish burning with your wood, your ash can go into compost, but only if you burnt non-treated or non-painted wood. Don't use that type of wood. So natural logs, yeah, great. And I'll put these on the compost heap now. And onto the compost heap, along with some kitchen waste. And next up, I'm going to sow some broad beans. And these are Ludes du Onto O or something. See how they grow. And broad beans are big seeds, so you can space them out really well. I've got 12 in there. Now, I've never grown many broad beans before because Claire doesn't like them. But Claire's dad's with us now and he loves them. So there's at least 2 that'll eat these this year, so I'll grow a few more. Cover them up and I'll just give them a bit of a soak before I put them in a nice warm place to germinate. The beans have had a nice soak now, and I'll put them away somewhere a little bit warmer. My carnivorous plants are looking a bit sorry for themselves, but that's what I want. They're out here for their dormancy at the moment, and on the 14th of February, or the nearest day to that, I'll get them back inside, start watering them, warm them up, and they'll come back to life. The leeks that I potted up last week have all taken and all looking good, so I'm pleased with those. And talking of leeks, and there's a finished article. Don't they look great? And that's to go along with the other fresh veg. Sunday dinner. And here's another one of my little experiments. Now then, this is my leaf compost. And basically all it is some leaves that Claire collected for me. And then with the leaves I've shredded them up into smaller pieces, mixed them up with a little tiny bit of paper and lots of coffee grounds. Now they smell lovely at the minute. That's Now leaves take a long time to break down, so I'm hoping using my worms will just speed that process up a little bit. Leaves normally take about 2 years to rot down. I'm hoping to get them ready to be used in about 6 months would be great, but we'll see. Some of my experiments have been epic fails. And that concludes this episode of Gardening 365 79. Join us next week when we're into the 80s. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. See you next time for Garden 365 80. Thanks very much. Bye. See you next week. And by the way, I've just used the very last of the tomatoes in a chicken casserole. We have no more tomatoes left and we'll now have to buy shop bought.